Good Monday morning! Today we're going to take a look at a completely new and super weird programming language called Luna that was just hit 1.0 beta. I am MPJ and you are watching Fun Function. Alright, so the studio is slowly coming together. I've got some cool nanoleaf aurora lights. Not sure if we're gonna keep them, but I don't know. They are there. And there's a chair. Gonna get some little better lighting in the background, maybe a little table with a lamp, maybe a plant if it's not too distracting, we'll see. Alright, so Luna. One part of me is a person that I like JavaScript because it's the most popular programming language in the world and you can do so much with it. And I really like that it's an established platform and, you know, the lingua franca of the internet. But I also have kind of an interest in the future of programming, and whenever somebody does something really, really wild and interesting and futuristic, I kind of want to take a look. And I think that Luna is one of those languages. If I was forced to describe Luna in the limited experience I've had with it, it's a kind of a Haskell that is visual, designed for data processing. It is kind of wild. If you go to lunalang.org, this is what you get. You get this video where they show these cool graphs where you can move things around and you connect nodes, and there's like, you can go into nodes, you can change stuff in them, and it live updates. It feels like it's really, really getting a lot of feedback when you're programming, and scrolling through stuff. I don't know even if this video is looping. Either way, it looks really, really cool. Hey, MPJ, haven't you said repeatedly over the years that visual languages are incredible bullshit? That is a great point. I have said that many, many times, but you know, like, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe like there is a visual language that for once works. But it turns out that Luna is not completely a visual programming language. It is a programming language that has a dual syntax. It has both a visual way of expressing things and a text-based language. So you can write things in both text and the visual way of doing things, and when you update the visual part, the textual part updates. So they are like, everything can be expressed as both, which is pretty funky. And the text-based part looks a lot like Haskell. It's very heavily Haskell inspired, and Haskell is in some ways a very, very nice language. All right, so let's scroll down here and see what we can find. So overview, view and data, immediate connection. Luna is a data processing and visualization environment built on a principle that people need an immediate connection to what they are building. It provides blah, 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 blah. This immediate thing is something that I am super interested in, and I think that is going to be like the next big leapfrog in programming after, you know, what we had with object-oriented programming and IDEs and static typing, and what is coming next. And I think that having immediacy, having kind of like going from right now, I feel that we as developers are where people that edited movies back in the day, when you had to you had these physical strips of 8mm film, is that it? Where you would cut them with a knife and then use a little tool to tape them back together. Like right now, for if you're editing movies, you have like this super real-time experience where you can view things exactly where the cut is, and you can very, very quickly preview your settings, even if you did like advanced color grading and stuff. It's very impressive. So there's an immediacy in it. You don't have to, if you're a filmmaker, you no longer have to simulate things in your brain. The computer will do that for you. However, as software developers, our tooling, like the norm is that we have to execute a lot of the code in our heads. And that is sort of a required skill for a software developer at this point. You have to be very good at simulating the execution of things in your head. If you can't do that really well and really fast, it's going to be hard for you to be a software developer. But I think that there is a great future in programming tools that just constantly gives you feedback, shows you immediately what is happening, where things are going wrong as you type. So like you save, and without like not even waiting for a second, perhaps not even 100 milliseconds, you immediately get feedback on your work. I think that when you get a programming experience like that, you're golden. There's a fantastic talk by a guy called Brett Victor. He's an ex-Apple employee. He has a talk called Inventing on Principle. The talk is actually about another thing completely, but he demonstrates these insanely cool concepts for how we can do interactive programming. I've linked it there and also in the episode description. You should really check it out. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and it gives you an idea about where things can be taken. There was a person that did a derivative on the talk, like an actual editor that was then kickstarted and eventually turned into the programming language Eve, which I've also done a bit of a review on the channel for a while back. I should probably do an update on that. And you can also check out that and there and in the episode description. It's pretty cool. And that's a long way of saying that I'm super interested about like this immediate connection to the data that we're working with, because that's essentially what a computer does. It computes data, it transforms data from one value to another. That's what computing is about. Oh, Luna targets domains where data processing is the primary focus, such as data science, Internet of Things, bioinformatics, graphic design, and architecture. Just to get that out of the way, this is not a web development language. This is not a language that we use to build interfaces. This is a language that we use to create like these data pipelines and stuff. I have this theory that data science is going to be like the biggest field in programming. And the reason why I think that is that every single company, not every needs this. Like not every single company needs an app. Not every single company needs a website even, but every single company will have customer data that they need to understand and that they need to build processes around. And in order to do that, you're going to need programming somewhere. Like you're going to need a data science language in there, because eventually the data becomes so vast that you can't really do manual analyses, and like Excel or something like that, it's just not going to cut it really, unless you're programming in Excel and then you're programming. But I think that is why I think that data science languages are going to be tremendously important and the biggest field in programming. Data flow graph, immersive. Luna is also a powerful data flow modeling whiteboard, allowing you to literally draw components and the way that data flows between them. Visual programming languages are bullshit. Well, most are, admittedly, but for this specific domain of transforming data from one point to another and building like a pipeline, a flow of things, I think that there is some potential to this kind of visual model. It's visualizing a pipe and a flow I think it might be beneficial to do that in a visual form over a purely textual form somehow. I believe. Yeah, but even if this doesn't work, I think that this just seems pretty cool. Like, listen to this. You can enter into any component or into its subcomponents and move seamlessly from high through to low levels of abstraction at will. You can move all the way down from a painting canvas to its underlying bitwise operations. That's pretty cool, ain't it? Zoom out and harness the complexity. Every component in Luna is built out of other components. The hierarchical design makes it easy to gradually change the abstraction level. Zoom out to see, okay, so they're zooming out here. Okay, this like looks pretty cool. Zoom out to see data transformations from a higher perspective. Zoom in to fine-tune the individual component's behavior. With a single keystroke, you can collapse the several connected components into a new, more powerful one and share it with others. So it's an interesting concept of having zoomability in a component-based architecture. I guess that is kind of what you're doing when it comes to things like React, but it's not having it built into the model and the IDE and the visualization and having everything tied together. Like, it's a concept that is very appealing to me. Visual debugging and profiling. Network service outages and data corruption are part of life, but Luna can also assist in analyzing these types of problems. When an error occurs, Luna tracks and displays its path through the graph so that you can easily follow it and understand where it comes from. Moreover, Luna records and visualizes extensive information about performance and memory consumption, allowing you to discover bottlenecks just by looking at the graph. So that is what we're seeing here on the left. It's okay, so they're doing some kind of Bitcoin thing. Are you, like, what is happening? Oh, okay. So these things here, they're turning red. Work at the speed of light. Luna was designed to focus on ergonomics and productivity. Visual components are just code expressions, which Luna analyzes and displays an interface for. Oh yeah, so it's showing here, like, on the right here, they show a map, and as you type, it updates it. So you have this little, every component can be visualized. So they turn on visualization for the individual components, and it just shows like what the data looks like in that point of the flow, which is pretty darn cool. Modern purely functional programming. You have my attention, sir. Luna is a general-purpose, purely functional programming language incorporating many recent innovations in programming language design, such as higher-order functions, non-strict semantics, algebraic data types, object-oriented programming, and sophisticated type inference engine. All that enclosed in an expressive textual syntax that is natural to read and write. Whoa! Okay, so it's purely functional, object-oriented, using type inference, and I think it's statically typed as well. Yes, static typing meets dynamic feel. The type inference engine tracks and understands all data transformation. It also resolves ambiguities without sacrificing the incredible safety that purely functional languages are known for. However, you can write out types if you choose, or ask the compiler to write them for you for handy documentation. And here we also have automatic parallelism. Luna uses a state-of-the-art Haskell GHC runtime system, enabling it to run thousands of threads in a fraction of a second. Moreover, Luna automatically partitions a program and schedules its execution over available CPU cores. Yeah, this is an advantage of things being purely functional, because then since all units are contained, that means that it's very, very easy to parallelize. So hypothetically, this can be very fast. As you will see, it is not very fast yet. The tool is super slow and super alpha, even though they call it a beta. That's a lie. It's an alpha. But either way, I'm still very excited about this. It's so cool to have something that have all these features and like static typing plus type for inference plus like thinking about ergonomics, because Haskell has these things. It's just that not the object-oriented things, but Haskell has these things, and they just haven't thought about ergonomics at all. Like, the usability of Haskell is dreadful. The language could potentially be very useful, but as a user experience, it's not fun. The error messages are like, they make your eyes pop out of your head. But that's just me talking a lot about it and looking at a web page. Let me actually show you what it looks like.